sea people. Phoenician, the bird rises from the ashes, became the national symbol for the Cherokee people, so that tells you something. Around 1750, most Cherokees had beards, and in 1730, 7 of them were brought over to meet King George, and lo and behold, they have Jewish sidelocks, paiute.
Wow.
So it's kind of amazing, and once you discover it, you say, well, how is this overlooked,
To my brothers and sisters who have discernment, today I will touch on a subject that few touch on. Biblical prophecy connected to America the Great sits before your very eyes. It must be pointed out. Proverbs 25 verse 2, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. Jeremiah 33 verse 3, call to me, and I will answer and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. And 1 Corinthians 2 verse 10, these things God has revealed to us through the Spirit, for the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. The belief that Hebrews traveled to ancient America way before the first European colonists would seem almost fairy tale rather than historical fact. But I had to point out a few things here that would go against the fairy tale theory. For example, has anyone ever considered the continental drift theory, which actually isn't so much a theory, but a global event that has solid scientific support? It also proves that the coastal shores were closer before they were further. And if you're one that considers the Bible a fairy tale, there is evidence by archaeologists and confirmed scientific studies of geological strata and their contained marine fossils that prove that a world flood caused the ocean to cover the continents to the highest continental areas. Such a flood would have the power to separate large land masses. And at the very least, these events could be counted seriously as to how a particular race of humans may have gotten here. And there's more. There is actual considerable archaeological evidence of Semitic people in ancient America and beyond. And I'm talking about worldwide evidence that proves that Hebrews were originally rural Canaanites that spoke the same language, that evolved from a dialect of Canaanite into the Hebrew language. These ancient Hebrews that left the coastal region of the main cities, whose sailors circled the earth long before the landmark voyages of Columbus and Magellan. These ancient merchants, explorers, and missionaries left behind actual, real evidence in North America. We're talking about structures that were made and left behind, drawings and inscripted lettering and languages on rock walls and on stone flats. And these artifacts have the exact spatial relationship to artifacts found in Hebrew sites on the other side of the planet. And get this, these artifacts were dismissed largely as modern hoaxes, misidentified artifacts, or upside-down 19th century Cherokee stone inscriptions by the Smithsonian. But in recent years, re-examined by archaeologists and epigraphers from around the world and proven to be real. Given America's off-limit areas of deep secrecy, mysteriously missing professionals, and intentionally lost artifacts by well-known government-funded institutions and museums, one should approach the exploration of this topic wisely, with much critical thinking and the discernment of everything. Today's video is a tale of disconnected evidence and misdirected history.
The author and genealogist Donald Yates, who not only through his own Cherokee ancestry discovered his own Jewish roots, but he's also leading the charge in the DNA discoveries of the ancient roots of the Cherokee and other Native American communities. So fascinating, and you've spent years writing the equivalent of 2 encyclopedias on the topic called Cherokee DNA Studies 1 and 2. So is it a myth that Native American peoples came across the Bering Strait as we're taught in school?
The skinny on that is really the Indians came from Europe. Their mitochondrial types are all old world from Europe.
And your DNA company, DNA Consultants, has also shown evidence of Cherokee having DNA ties to the ancient Phoenician and Minoan sea peoples, who are believed to have discovered the Americas thousands of years BCE. Explain.
So the Jews were kind of fellow travelers with the sea peoples. Phoenician really meant someone who was a rich merchant or trader and dealt in luxury goods. There were others before them, like the Minoans of Crete. You could call all these people sea people. Phoenician, the bird rises from the ashes, and that became the national symbol for the Cherokee people, so that tells you something. And the Cherokee had 7 major clans, and one of them was the Paint Clan, because they controlled the dye, the purple dye, which was one of the luxury goods of the ancient world.
Tell us more about the Bat Creek stone written in Paleo-Hebrew and why it could be connected to the Bar Kokhba revolt of the 2nd century CE.
The Bat Creek stone is in square Hebrew capitals, and it says a comment for Judah. It was found in a mound, an Indian mound. This was a burial from the 2nd century of the Common Era. There were 11 people around him. What does that sound like? Yeah. Sounds like a minion, doesn't it? And all this was done by the Smithsonian. And Cyrus Gordon thought that these were survivors of the Bar Kokhba revolt of the 2nd century. And they are said in rabbinical literature to have gone first to Cyrene or Libya, and then to Spain, and then further west. Well, what's further west? America.
In fact, also 18th century trader James Adair, who lived with and married a Cherokee woman, his book, The History of the American Indians, makes a clear cultural and genetic link between the Cherokee and Sephardic secret Jews.
He reported on a lot of Jewish practices. They had their version of Yom Kippur, and they had their version of Sukkot. Adair even thought that they played the melody of Kol Nidra. There's a famous valley in North Carolina, Toe River Valley, which is famous for its gems and its gemstone mining. When the English went there, they got chased off by men with beards. Around 1750, most Cherokees had beards, and in 1730, 7 of them were brought over to meet King George, and lo and behold, they have Jewish sidelocks, payot.
Wow. So
it's kind of amazing, and once you discover it, you say, well, how is this overlooked, Sequoyah himself had a Jewish father. His statue is in the Capitol building in the Rotunda. The inventor of the Cherokee syllabary. No, that's not true. The Cherokee syllabary has existed for over 2,000 years, and it's an ancient alphabet. That doesn't go over too well because people like to cherish their myths,
For decades, the story was clear. All Native Americans came from a small group of founding mothers who crossed the land bridge from Siberia into Alaska during the last ice age. Textbooks insisted that every Native American belonged to one of 4 maternal haplogroups, A, B, C, or D. Later, a reluctant 5th, called X, was added, though it was considered extremely rare. These groups, scientists argued, tied Native Americans firmly to Asia, not Europe, not the Middle East, and certainly not Africa. But when researchers began testing Cherokee descendants, everything changed. Instead of finding only the expected A, B, C, and D, they uncovered something that defied the official story. Cherokee DNA carried high frequencies of haplogroups, T, U, J, H, and X, lineages that did not come from Siberia. These markers were tied to the Mediterranean, to Egyptians, to the Berbers of North Africa, to Jewish populations of the Middle East, and to the Druze people of Lebanon and Israel. This discovery was more than just an academic twist. It shook the foundation of American history. If the Cherokee carried these markers long before Columbus ever set foot in the New World, then their ancestors had deep genetic links to some of the world's oldest civilizations. And the evidence didn't end with anonymous lab results. It began raising questions about what else had been hidden, ignored, or covered up.
Indeed, much has been kept in secret. I am mystery. I am revenant. I do not mince words. I do not play games. I am sent.